Man, I look like I just hit 30 in Sifu. So there's a good chance that a lot of you guys have already heard about this story or bits and pieces of this story. My friend told me about it like a week ago or so, and then just the other day I started digging into it, getting into the meat and potatoes, and dang, this is a freaking rabbit hole. Talk about a whole bunch of people just yapping, thinking they the eye of Sauron, just can see everything. They know all the details that took place. It's actually insane. So I'm going to show the original clip. I'm going to blur whatever I feel like I need to, but this guy doesn't have like the meat scepter out or something. This isn't a 14-inch hog, so you can't really see that much, but... That's fucked up. So there it is. I'll read you the text because it's kind of blurry. It says, a man named Austin orders DoorDash, selects the option to have order left at the door, sees his DoorDasher, me, has a female name, and then falls asleep on the couch with his pants and underwear to his ankles and his front door wide open in 59 Fahrenheit. So this is what I see when I have to leave the order. So Olivia, the DoorDasher, has this inquiry come in, goes to Austin's house. When she is delivering the food, she finds him cock and balls, gum holster, just laying out, splayed for the whole world to see. As you might expect, she is a little perturbed by seeing this naked man and then decides to record it and post it on TikTok. And that's where the can of beans really springs open. All the Mexican beans start freaking flopping around with their little larvae and whatever the hell. There's a couple stories a month like this that just for some reason everybody gravitates to, and they have the most insane takes and bizarre opinions about what happened, and it just starts spreading like wildfire. Like, people are acting like they're this dude's left nut and they saw the whole thing happen. So from the original video, which is all there was at first, people were saying she opened the door, she walked inside his house, she was getting freaking angles. Like, some people were saying like he had done other things, like he had maybe like gotten up and like had said something. Like, these people are acting like they astral projected into the room. They had freaking seen the liminal space and what exactly had gone down. And they're just stating that like facts, so much so that creators had gone and started like saying, hey, this is fact, this is what happened, and just freaking spiraled, bro. If you go and watch any of this girl's TikToks, the comment sections are heinous. I'm getting a little bit lost in the sauce. Point being, one clip comes out, people start spouting off nonsense about what had happened, what had not happened, and then now that it's been a couple weeks, we have a little bit more information. We have some more pieces to this story that came out. So after Olivia had this encounter with this man, she went and reported it to DoorDash that night. She did not contact the cops then, but did later. But then she was mad that like the dude wasn't instantly in handcuffs behind bars serving a life sentence. That right there kind of sums up the perfect framing of this story. It's a lot of people shooting spitballs at each other and information being lost along the way. Story continues. Olivia then gets her DoorDash account deactivated.
Hey guys, so DoorDash just deactivated me 2 days after I reported my sexual assault. Hey guys, I just lost my job and they won't tell me why. I was working. I was literally working and they deactivated me.
As you can see in some of these clips, she is very distraught. She describes it as being her only source of income, so she just lost her job. Obviously, a very stressful, horrible thing, especially in freaking today's economy where you can't get shit for a fart these days. How she was paying bills as a DoorDasher, I have no freaking idea, because I tried that shit on my little Yamaha Zuma scooter with the big old box like a little Brazilian moto boy. That shit was horrible. You drive 30 minutes and make $5, bro. I can't even pay for my Yamaha Zuma gas, which gets 80 miles a gallon. How are people driving cars and doing this? Now, I think people get a lot better at min-maxing than I ever was, but either way, friggin' sucks. It sucks to lose what you rely on. That is objectively a horrible thing, and I get why she's upset about it. DoorDash was not very explicit with her at first why she had lost her account and if it was going to be reinstated. Apparently she did appeal, but because she didn't know why she had lost it, she instantly lost the appeal as well, making her more stressed. Olivia, bless her heart, does tend to be very expressive in her TikTok videos, and I think maybe sometimes loses the plot a tad.
I then lost my job. The police are doing nothing. And if I get one more account strike on TikTok, my account's done. And they took down my video. They were gonna have to pay me for my second story time because that was over a minute long. They were gonna have to pay me for all those views I got. So nope, they took that right down. They took that right down. Absolutely not. They're not paying me for that. Nope.
So she kept saying that DoorDash and TikTok are trying to silence me and my sexual assault. There's a couple of things just to just a tad off there, because she was saying TikTok was silencing her because they were blocking her videos of the dude's cock. You can't post videos of a dude's cock on TikTok. The same thing that she's mad about, indecent exposure, she is literally doing that. She's putting a video of a naked man on TikTok. She uses great watertight logic in one of her videos, and she says, if it wasn't me that would have seen him naked, what if a kid had walked by? He lives in a duplex. What if a kid saw his freaking hog laying out? That would be even worse, and that is so true. But you posting a video of his cock on TikTok would also be showing a kid potentially a naked man. So she says TikTok's silencing her, but they're removing explicit content from the platform. They should do that. You can, and she figures this out eventually. She can talk about it, and then her videos don't get taken down. It's not what she's saying. It's not seeking rectification for the crime that was committed, which legitimately is indecent exposure. It's her showing it explicitly on TikTok. So she did figure it out, and I don't think TikTok was targeting her at all. So that's another thing she got kicked in the ass about a couple times. Well, a lot of times in the comments. A lot of people are saying, stop saying sexual assault, stop saying sexual assault. So I looked it up and I read a couple things about it. Technically true. Sexual assault generally includes contact, and there's no contact, so it's an indecent exposure, like we were saying, which is a sexual offense, and it is a chargeable offense. It is a crime. So Olivia, you're not like holding back saying he committed a sexual crime or a sexual offense. But when you say sexual assault, it does imply something that did not happen, which turns people against you. And a lot of these things, she's kind of good at getting people to not agree with her for stupid reasons. Like, it is a crime. It is horrible that guy did that. But when you say it wrong, it turns people off. I mean, it's just like kind of frustrating. I'm frustrated for her because she could have more people rallying behind her if she didn't say it like that. You know what I'm saying? Maybe not. So let's take a second to think about the guy. Even if it wasn't malicious, which there are plenty of pointers saying that it was malicious, he could assume it was a woman coming from the name on the Doordash account. He had ordered Doordash 15 minutes before. Like, these all sound like the guy goes through the drive-thru and pulls out his wiener, or, flashes kids at a park. Like, it gives that vibe a lot. But if we were trying to see it from the best angle we could possibly see it for him, he is freaking sloshed. He orders Doordash, falls asleep drunk. Even in that case, best case scenario for him, no malicious intent, trying to mind his own business. He is still naked on his couch with his door open. And I agree with Olivia in saying other people could see it. Obviously, it's still a crime if she sees it. It would be worse if a kid saw it. You cannot do that. You cannot leave your door open and be naked. I'm sorry. Maybe that's a crazy take, but people shouldn't have to see your cock if they don't want to. So a couple days later, Doordash made a official comment on the situation on their socials, and I'll read it. We've seen some tough and sensitive posts over the past few days, and we want to clear the air. No one should ever have to experience sexual assault, harassment, or abuse, and Doordash never deactivates someone for reporting it. Full stop. We take these reports incredibly seriously and work closely with law enforcement to investigate and support those affected. Very understandable take from Doordash. They deactivated his account right after the incident was filed, so they did exactly what they say they do there. In this case, the Dasher let us know about an experience that made them feel unsafe, and that's exactly what we want our Dashers to do. Our team immediately began investigating and has been in direct contact with law enforcement and is prepared to fully support all of their efforts. However, posting a video of a customer in their home and disclosing their personal details publicly is a clear violation of our policies. That is the sole reason that this Dasher's account was deactivated, along with the customers, while we investigated. We've also ensured the Dasher has full access to their earnings. There you go, spelled out for you. So, a reasonable response to the situation. She posted a video of a naked man inside his house. Yes, indecent exposure. But he was inside his house with his name and the state they live in. Maybe there was more information out there. But even just with that information, like, why don't she say, like, oh, he's unarmed. Go on in. Like, I don't know. I'm just like, I see why some people are bugged about that, and I see why Doordash was hesitant to be like, you can just post videos of people in their house when they're naked. And they do say at the end of that paragraph that Olivia has access to all of her earnings, which is good. She does mention that in another video, that like she had money in the account and she might have lost it. That would be freaking messed up, bro. So they make sure that that is not the case. It's obviously a very sensitive thing because a crime has been committed, but you walk the line of another crime being committed or potentially being committed in the future if things like this weren't stopped.
But after so many people told me to report it to the police, I did. And I called the non-emergency line, and they sent a police officer over to speak to me in person and watch the video that I have. And then he asked me to email it to him, and he asked me if I want to press charges, like, what do I want to come from this? And I said, yeah, if there are charges to press, I would prefer that because I don't want this to happen to somebody else again. And he understood that, the police officer, and then he went back out to his car, and then he came back to me, and he told me, like, this is pretty much verbatim. It's not verbatim, but, like, it's the point that he said. He said he's not sure if there are charges that can be pressed at this point because he was inside of his house, and specifically he said it's not like he came up to his door with it out or like his window with it out or whatever, but it's like, come on now.
So she makes it clear that the cops don't know if there will be a charge that she can press because he's inside his home. Doordash does make the statement that they are talking to the police about this situation, though at the end of the day it's not Doordash's fault that he chose to do this, so I can't imagine they can do too much about the situation. It is insane the amount of misinformation that has spread around this story, and I hope that as things go forward we can continue to see exactly what did happen and some of these small details will be revealed. She says in her most recent TikTok that she has proof that the door was open when she came to the house, which is one of the biggest points of contention. Some people say the door was open just a crack or not at all, and that she had pushed it open. I guess we'll see, man. Either way, that's the freaking story for today. I'll be keeping a pulse on the situation. If there's any updates, I'll let you guys know. Okay, love you gamers, bye.